Hey everybody, Douglas Blair Roberts here, the Super Vader 400, the brown skin human, Mrthefanboy, coming back at you with another intro to another pro wrestling video series. This is the intro to various AEW reviews. AEW reviews. Haven't done an AEW pay-per-view reviews. Haven't done an AEW pay-per-view review since last year's Double or Nothing 2020. 20. This is the very first one will be AEW AEW All Out 2021, which in my opinion started off slow. Was a great show, not awesome. It started off slow, but around the tag team title steel cage match, it picked up. And CM Punk, Darby Allin, and the main event of Omega and Cage were probably matches of the night if I had to choose. So yeah. Now this show was awesome and all, but I don't think it was the best show ever. Like I already see some people saying it is. I think the AEW Double or Nothing 2021 pay-per-view from earlier this year, which had a much larger card, I think that card was better. So yeah. So with that being said, let me hit the theme song and make my grand entrance. Most of these pay-per-views, past and present, will be mostly reviews. So yeah, you won't hear the what I'm made of unless it's one lackluster or terrible pay-per-view. So with that being said, let's get started right now. Hey everybody, it's time for the off-camera results portion of my review of All Elite Wrestling All In. This pay-per-view, like I said in the musical intro, this pay-per-view right here, it started off slow, but starting with the tag team title cage match between the Young Bucks and the Luchadors, Pentagon and Phoenix. This is where the show picked up, and each match was better than the last. Each match was better than the last, and then Then in the main event, not only was the main event good, I got the end result I wanted, and that was Kenny Omega retaining that All Elite Championship against Christian Cage, beating Christian Cage with the super one-winged angel off the top rope. But it was what happened afterwards. But I'm gonna get to that later. But I got what I wanted. Yeah, like I said, the show started off. I came into the stream late. I sadly to say I missed the the best friends whenever Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus versus the Matt Hardy brand tag team, match, 10-man tag team match to start in the pre-show. I hated that had to be on the pre-show, but I guess with all these other matches, something had to be bumped off the card. I was also disappointed, and this did harm the show, but the middle and ending of this show managed to completely make up for it, and that was the absence of Brian Cage and Ricky Starks for that FTW title on this pay-per-view. Once again, Brian Cage is once again buried in the mid card. Look at where Brian Cage was in Impact Wrestling, and look at where he is in AEW. Firstly, for most of 2020 and this year was in a stable with Taz. Number two, after the Revolution pay-per-view is over with. After the Revolution pay-per-view is over with, they tease Taz. They tease Taz and they tease Taz. They tease a babyface turn. And guess what? They completely de-emphasize this and drop this for months. Then slowly bring it up while continuing to drop it. Then finally at I think it was Fight for the Fallen Part 1. Finally we got the double turn. But that's what I'm talking about. Then my boys, the Seidel brothers, especially Matt Seidel, still the job guys. Look at where Matt Seidel was in Impact Wrestling throughout 2018, throughout 2017 and 18. Look at where he is in AEW, the job guy, the quote-unquote job guy. So, yeah, but surprisingly, these did harm the show in the beginning, but the middle and end were able to make up for these guys not being on the pay-per-view. And while this pay-per-view was phenomenal, I still think Double or Nothing from earlier this year was the superior pay-per-view. But anyway, let me continue. I came into the stream late. I came into the stream during the Eddie Kingston Miro TNT Championship match, and it was a pretty stiff physical match from what I expect from these two. Miro won. Don't remember how, but he won. Then one of the fights I want to see, strong style fight between John Moxley, and of course New Japan's Satoshi Kojima. New Japan and most recently Impact's Satoshi Kojima here in AEW battling John Moxley. John Moxley won with his power driver, with his double underhook side buster maneuver. I keep forgetting what he calls it, but he won with that maneuver in a pretty awesome fight. Then next was the quote unquote next was the females. Dr. Britt Baker, D&D, with Jamie Hayter, and Rebel defeated Chris Statlander with Orange Cassidy for the Women's Championship. I took a food break when this was on. From what I was listening to, I was listening from downstairs. It seemed like it was a good match, but like I said, the pay-per-view started off slow. There was only certain stuff I wanted to see on this pay-per-view. Then you had, this is where the pay-per-view started to pick up now. Steel cage match, AEW Championship. The Lucha Brothers, Pentagon, El Zero, and Rey Fenix with Alex Abrahanez, I think that's his name, defeated the Young Bucks with Brandon Cutler by pinfall, upset and defeated the Young Bucks. Yeah, mixed towards this match. First off, the fight was awesome. It dragged, but the fight was awesome. The middle and last part of this fight was where it just went back and forth. I wanted the Young Bucks to retain the title. I wanted Jungle Boy Luchasaurus, Griff Garrison, and Brian Pillman Jr., the Varsity Blondes, or the Matt Sydal brothers to be the top candidates to take those AEW championships off of the Young Bucks. Other people include the tag teams, the Butcher and Blade and Hybrid Theory from the Matt Hardy brand. Who else? The Guns, Darby Allin, and they probably wouldn't do that. Darby Allin and Sting, but anyway, these are the first three I just named are the top three tag teams I want to take the titles off of the I kind of hate how they went from Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus to Pentagon and Phoenix. I like Pentagon and Phoenix, but I didn't like them, especially Pentagon and AEW, who were boring. Phoenix is okay on his own, but these guys have just been boring and just terrible since joining AEW, especially Pentagon. But this right here was an awesome showing, and I guess it's good that they gave the fans what they want. The fans for a while have been sick of the Young Bucks and want the titles off of the Young Bucks, so while I may not like it, AEW said they were going to be for the quote-unquote fans, and it does make me respect the Young Bucks. Okay, they could hide, because this is technically their show. A company technically helped start it by them and Tony Khan and the Elite. They could hijack those titles for a while, like Jeff Jarrett did Impact Wrestling with the world title, but they chose not to do that and chose to put over another team. But yeah, this is where the pay-per-view picked up. Then you had Ruby, the debuting Ruby show, winning a 20-man over-the-top battle royal, last eliminating Thunder Rosa for a shot at DMD's AEW Women's Championship. Yeah, I turned the stream off for this and came in at the very end. It seemed like it was a good match. Now to one of the matches I really want to see. Chris Jericho versus MJF, Maxwell Jacob Freeman, with Jericho's career on the line. Of course, yeah, I was hugely into this match because I wanted Jericho to win. I didn't want Jericho to retire just yet. He's one of the best old wrestlers who is still good today. One of the old wrestlers from back then who is still fresh, good, and keeps up with the younger cats of today. I wasn't ready for him to retire. Yes, I was on the edge of my seat. I was on the edge of my seat with this with this feud right here. Anyway, what else? So yeah, it was back and forth with Chris Jericho with Chris Jericho making MJF tap to the walls of Jericho. So Jericho is still in AEW. There's more from this match, but I'll wait till the match reviews to talk more about this. Then, of course, oh yes, this was probably match of the night. Next was CM Punk taking on Darby Allin with Sting, and boy, was this an awesome awesome back and forth match. There was even one moment where before Darby Allin was about to do his finisher, he did something to piss off the crowd because they started booing when he did his drop finisher off the top rope, his backwards drop off the top rope, backwards splash off the top rope. Punk played possum, but then Darby Allin reversed Punk's pin into another move. Then Punk caught him for the GTS, pinning him, and Sting came out to congratulate Punk. Then the next match of the night had Oh yes, Paul Wright, much to my surprise, defeating QT Marshall in this factory, even with interference from Aaron Solo and Nick Camarado by pinfall in a quick but awesome match. Yeah, so that's what it was. Disappointed we didn't see Billy Gunn in here. I still think it was a mistake to turn him heel quickly. But anyway, yeah, now we get to the main event. One thing I tuned into this show to see: Kenny Omega with Don Callis getting his revenge and defeating and beating the living daylights out of Christian Cage. This match was back and forth. Can you top this? And was much more of a fight. It was much more of a high impact fight than their Rampage encounter from weeks ago. Okay, I was like, man, I was on the edge of my seat. Because I did not want Crips. Still mad at Christian Cage was the one to dethrone Kenny Omega of his Impact Wrestling Championship. Happy to see Omega. Happy to see Omega with the Super One-Winged Angel, reversing Christian's kill switch engage unprettier maneuver off the top rope for the 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Thus retaining the AEW Championship. But this happens afterwards. Kenny Omega quoted several other lines and Kenshiro's Fist of the North Star. Any shins from Fist of the North Star. Anyone who is a threat to me is either retired, inactive, or already dead. And then the lights went out, and out came Adam Cole, the debuting Adam Cole. Finally, they've been talking about his contract status for months now, but finally he's in AEW now. Then Adam Cole came in the ring and told Kenny Omega, "You thought I forgot what happened to me?" Then it was a swerve. He turned him and revealed he was in cahoots with the Elites by super kicking Jungle Boy. Then what happened after this was over? Oh yes, then Kenny Omega quoted Steve Urkel's J-Lo White, Steve Urkel. "Ooh, did we do that? And then with an updated version of Rise of the Valkyrie, and Danielson made his debut, and together he and Jungle One and Luchasaurus cleaned house and sent the Elite packing. So yes, Daniel Bryan already with this debut. I can't wait to see him. It was so exciting because I downplayed both of his and Punk's debut from weeks ago. Same with Adam Cole's debut. Like, no, just signing these guys is not enough. No, they gotta prove themselves, because this is what I did want. This is what Impact Wrestling kept doing, and they kept, instead of focusing on the talent, focusing on what they have, signing all of these free agents, signing all of these wrestlers. Instead of focusing on your talents, on these wrestlers, they got to show them when they come here. They got to show me something. They got to prove themselves, and each one did, man. Already want to tune in next Wednesday, and it's interesting to see what they have in store with Daniel Bryan and Adam Cole. Now, Adam Cole. So yeah, this was the results portion. Matches I will be reviewing, of course, are the TNT match, the Moxley Kojima match, the Lucha Brothers match, the Chris Jericho MJF match, CM Punk Darby Allin, Paul Wright and QT Marshall in the Factories match, Kenny Omega and Christian Cage, and if I can find it, the pre-show match between Best Friends, Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, and and the Hardy family. Hardy family. Also, I forgot to mention Malachi Black also appeared on this show. Oh yes, and Minoru Suzuki debuted delivering a power driver to the victor John Moxley. Yeah. So yeah, let's get ready right now for the on-camera match reviews.
Was working as a pretty good unit right here, Excalibur. And
hey everyone, the very first match I'm going to start off with is the 10-man tag team match between Best Friends, Orange Cassidy, Taylor, Yuta, Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus, with Marco Stunt, the baby faces, taking on Matt Hardy, Private Party, the Blade, and Hybrid Theory, Jack Evans, and my boy in Heldo. Phenomenal opener. Not much to talk about. Crowd was excited throughout the entire show. Way too many moves to call. Way too many
belly-to-belly suplex. Private Party got sandwiched.
Way too many moves to call. Jungle Boy hit his finishing submission hold for the 1, 2, 3, thus winning the match. My only problem with this match is that these are all 10 wrestlers these are all 8 or 10 wrestlers. These are all wrestlers who should have been on the main card, who should have been on the quote-unquote main card, but because you have too big of a show already, these guys got moved to the pre-show. After the match, the returning Butcher of the Butcher and Blade tag team, he made his return representing the Hardy brand. But Griff Garrison and Varsity Blondes came to the aid. Once again, several wrestlers who should have been on the main card, who should be featured week in and week out, but are not. But are quote-unquote, not, because AEW was signing too many wrestlers. Well, this was a phenomenal pre-show. Just disappointed that this awesome match, my boy Cassidy, one of AEW's featured wrestlers, didn't make it onto the main show. Now, let's get to the main show. Hey everybody, it's time for my review of the very first match on this card, and that of course is the TNT Championship match between Mero and Eddie Kingston, and it was good for what it was. Nothing really exciting happened. We're mostly just waiting to see the quote unquote main event. The guy wanted to retain. Mero won. Would have been okay with Eddie Kingston winning his first singles title in AEW, but I'm glad Mero won. I want Brian Cage, Matt Sydal, and a select other number of wrestlers to dethrone him. Oh yeah, and Kip Sabian, and with the returning Kip Sabian whenever he returns, and several other wrestlers to dethrone Mero of that AEW TNT championship. It was mostly lots of punches, chops, kicks, high stiff martial arts kicks, and a lot of T-bone suplex, and brawling. Match really got interesting when Kingston pulled out his weapon and he surprisingly hit Mero with it, and Mero, much to my surprise, kicked out. Mero then Kingston put Mero, I think, in some kind of Cobra clutch maneuver, and Mero responded with a low blow, bounced off the ropes and hit 2 stiff martial arts kicks. His finisher for the 1, 2, 3, thus retaining his championship. So So that's what AEW so this was what the first match was like. Like I said in the results portion, show picked up around the fourth match. So next is Kojima and Moxley. Now it's time for my review of Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley taking on New Japan's and Impact's Satoshi Kojima. And as I expected, this was a pretty good strong style of match to start the show. I wanted Kojima to win, but I knew Moxley would win after several stiff, strong style strikes, suplexes, slams, and maneuvers. Moxley, of course, pinned Kojima with his I keep forgetting what he calls it, but his underhook side buster maneuver for the 1-2 side buster slam type maneuver for the 1-2-3. Match was good, but it was what happened after this match was open. After this match was open, when Moxley was celebrating and catching his breath, suddenly Minoru Suzuki's theme hits and the crowd goes wild, and it's Minoru Suzuki debuting in AEW, and he comes out in workout clothes, and Moxley doesn't back down, stares him down. They both fight, and Suzuki lays him out with his signature power driver maneuver. And later in the show, they announce Minoru Suzuki will be taking on Moxley this upcoming Wednesday on Dynamite. So now next match, of course, is the tag team cage match.
He's got himself emotion right back in this thing.
Time for my on-camera
trying to leave the power.
review and
Nick Jackson.
The big tag team title cage match between defending champions, the heels representing the Elite, the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson,
and the older brother
taking on the Lucha Brothers of Pentagon, El-Zero, and Phoenix Star. I wanted the Young Bucks to win.
Look at the stare down.
I wanted the Young Bucks to win this match, but I'm okay with Pentagon and Phoenix winning. The fans responded well to it, and AEW did say they were going to be about the fans. I wanted the Elite. I wanted the Young Bucks to hold on to the belts for a while. I wanted the Elite to rule the wrestling world for a while. AEW and pro wrestling is still awesome, but it was better earlier this year when Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks had all the belts, had all the
four athletes who keep going. These two teams
had all the belts. Well, anyway, this right here was a phenomenal tag team match. It started off as your stereotypical Young Bucks Lucha Brothers match. Lots of brawling and lots of spots and lots of kicks. Too many to call. Just right on scene reviewing that many Young Bucks matches. Anyway, it got real interesting. It got real interesting when the Young Bucks got their special Dior shoes with the spikes on the bottom, with the quote-unquote spikes on the bottom, with the quote-unquote spikes on the bottom. They were gonna hit Phoenix. One of the Young Bucks was gonna hit Phoenix, but Pentagon got in the way and sacrificed himself for his quote-unquote brother.
God, they can barely stand. This is crazy. That is somehow
for his quote-unquote
he's somehow up on his
for
feet.
his quote-unquote brother sacrificed himself, and then it was just back and forth kicks and stiff kicks and finishers, including the Young Bucks hitting the big trigger, but surprisingly kicking out. Then there did one spot where one of the Young Bucks had Phoenix in a power driver position, and Pentagon had one of the Young Bucks in a power drive position, and they both hit them on their partners simultaneously.
Super kick battle with the Young Bucks, guys. That's my
simultaneously. Pentagon managed to win when Phoenix managed to take out both men, and Pentagon hit his finisher for the 1, 2, 3. Thus we have new tag team champions. Another problem I had with the Lucha Brothers winning is I wanted several other tag teams to take the titles off of the Young Bucks. The first three that come to mind are Griff Garrison and Brian Pillman Jr., the Varsity Blondes, the Sydal Brothers, and of course, and I'm mad they went away from this, Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, who they were kind of teasing and hyping weeks and weeks. But yeah, this is where the show picked up. This is where the show picked up. Next is Jericho and Maxwell Jacob Freeman.
Nick puts on that break, swinging on miss. Oh, Fenix! He launched off the cage. I look at it. Jericho, of course, had to endure those 5 labors,
hey everyone.
Of which,
now it's time for my review of the Chris Jericho versus Maxwell Jacob Freeman MJF career match. If Jericho had lost, he would have to retire from AEW competition. I was really into this match because once again, Jericho is one of the many wrestlers from the old wrestlers from the previous eras who are still good today, who I still enjoy watching today, my bad, I said today, and still reinvents himself for the new generation, for the quote-unquote new generation. It is one of the goats of wrestling. And many wrestlers were wrestlers like Jericho, Tommy Dreamer, wanting to not only enhance themselves but also make stars, put over and make stars along the way. The wrestling business would be better and bigger than what it was, bigger than it is today.
This kid is so arrogant.
So yeah. I want Jericho to retire yet, so I was hugely into that match. You gotta hand it to Jericho and Maxwell Jacob Freeman for managing to keep me into this match, move for move, from beginning to end. Match. It started off with Jericho just dominant. Let's start off with the entrances. Maxwell Jacob Freeman, he came out first, and I thought it was going to be Jericho. He came out with Jericho's old Y2J, Break the Walls Down entrance from 99 and 2000. He came back with that entrance, and I thought it was Jericho breaking out. Oh, does Jericho have the rights to use that? Then it was Maxwell Jacob Freeman. It started off with Jericho's entrance, then came to his music. Then Jericho made his awesome music with the Judas song. Match started, but these guys brawled all over the place, all over the arena. Jericho controlled most of the first match, but then Maxwell Jacob Freeman controlled one of the one of the more memorable moments of the match was when Maxwell Jacob Freeman tried to mock Jericho with an Ice-Sahi moonsault to the outside. Jericho ducked and Maxwell Jacob Freeman, surprising athleticism, landed on his feet, and Jericho reversed attempted Hurricanrana from him and threw him onto the powerbombed him onto the apron. Onto the Maxwell Jacob Freeman, the match left was going to end when he hit the armbar onto Jericho, but Jericho managed to reverse it into the walls of Jericho. Meanwhile, Warlord came to the ring, but Hager came to even up the odds. But this game, Maxwell Jacob Freeman, the advantage, he needs to hit Jericho with his own move, the Judas effect, and he looked like it was going to be over. 1, 2, 3, but Jericho put his foot on the ropes, but the female referee who came in to substitute the other referee who got hit didn't see it. So briefly, Maxwell Jacob Freeman won, and I thought, like, please don't do this, where it's going to be where Jericho had his foot on the rope, but it's going to be counted as a win for Maxwell Jacob Freeman. That would have been a good storyline, but I'm glad they didn't go there. They didn't go there. Instead, the other referee came and explained to the female referee what happened, and thus we started the match. And we started the match, and Jericho tried to roll up Freeman. Freeman tried to roll up, quote unquote, Jericho, and later, what happened later in this match? Later, what happened later? Oh yeah, then Jericho finally managed to grab Maxwell Jacob Freeman into the walls of Jericho and managed to drag him into the center, where Maxwell Jacob Freeman had no choice but to tap out. Thus, Jericho stays in AEW, and he celebrated with the rest of the Inner Circle. So Jericho finally got his payback from the labors of Jericho, where Maxwell Jacob Freeman, much to my surprise, upset and defeated Jericho. So yeah, now it's time for probably his match of the night: CM Punk and Darby Allin. Get ready.
It's inexplicable, his condition.
Nice and basic side headlock.
Now it's time for my CM Punk versus Darby Allin. The packages were great. Both men's entrances, especially CM Punk's, was awesome. I love CM Punk's brand new in ring gear. He has longer tights now. He has longer tights now. Glad he didn't wear those dated, cheesy Macho Man inspired tights. He has some cool long tights now. Anyway, they locked up. They start off with the cool chain wrestling. Then got to the brawling and high impact maneuvers. This match went all over. The place, and it went back and forth. I knew from the beginning. I knew and kind of wanted CM Punk to win. One part that surprised me was towards the end of the match, where Darby Allin, he did something to piss off the crowd, where the crowd started to boo him, and then he dived off with his backwards finisher,
start to run towards him
finisher, but Punk was playing possum. Then Punk tried to GTS, but Darby Allin reversed it into some signature pin he does. But Punk managed to reverse it into another go to sleep, knocking him out, and thus pinning for the 1, 2, 3. Sting came out to check on Darby Allin and congratulate Punk, and the 3 shared embrace. Surprised that dark tag team led by Garcia, they didn't interfere and try to ruin this awesome moment right here. But what a phenomenal match this was, and this match right here was probably match of the night. Now time for Big Show and QT Marshall.
Sometimes you know something's coming, but there's just not a damn thing you can do about it.
Walks around, gets the attention of the referee.
Look here. Look at this impact.
Oh. And I don't know if you caught it, but Don Callis,
time for my
attention away.
Yeah, you talked about manipulating.
Time for my review, and time for this video right here is two match reviews and rants in one video. In this final part, we're going to talk about the Big Show QT Marshall match first, then the Kenny Omega Christian Cage AEW title match. QT Marshall and Big Show match. It was good for as long as it lasted. It only lasted about 3 minutes. Both Big Show and QT Marshall performed well in the match. It was your stereotypical giant, Big Show, strong style of match. But problem I had with this match was Billy Gunn and the Guns heel turn on the Dynamite before this. And those three wrestlers had no play in this match. And firstly, I think it was a dumb idea to turn them heel to begin with. To turn them heel this early in the feud for no good reason. And then you have no payoff. Big Show easily dispatched Marshall and his factory in the match. But it's what it was. Now for the main event, Kenny Omega and Christian Cage AEW title. This wasn't the technical display they had at Rampage. It was from the get-go. It was a fight. Can you top this? Can you top with both men getting each other's face? With both men getting each other's face, slapping each other. Kenny Omega reverses. Kenny Omega hits Christian Cage with a Hurricanrana, sending him to the outside. Then later tries a V trigger and ends up missing and hurting his knee by hitting. Then Christian Cage gets the advantage and tricks him and pretends he's gonna put him in another unprettier, but Kenny Omega manages to reverse it, not wanting to lose quickly. Then it just goes back and forth with Christian Cage and Kenny Omega hitting big moves, especially Omega. I wanted Omega to win. I'm still mad. Christian Cage was the one that thrown him for the Impact Wrestling Championship. I'm still angry about that. So happy to see Kenny Omega win here. Kenny Omega hit him with the both of them hit several spots, including Christian Cage spearing Kenny Omega onto two tables, then spearing, then giving him a brutal spear to the back, then trying to finish him off with a Texas Clover Leaf. But Don Callis brought out the elite, but Christian Cage managed to counter them by dodging Kenny Omega's one-winged angel, where Kenny Omega accidentally hit Doc Gallows. This allowed Christian Cage to hit the unpretty on Kenny Omega, and Kenny Omega managed to kick out. Then later, Christian Cage put Kenny Omega on the top rope for a top rope maneuver. The elite got involved again, but Christian Cage managed to take care of them. Then deck Omega with a right, thus so he could finish his top rope maneuver. Then his top rope maneuver was a kill switch engage off the top rope, but Kenny Omega, my boy, reversed it into a super one-winged angel off the top rope for the 1, 2, 3. Kenny Omega retains the AEW championship. After the match, beat down on Cage. Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus come to the rescue, but then suddenly Kenny Omega cuts a promo quoting Fist of the North Star, Shin from Fist of the North Star, saying everyone who is a threat to them is either inactive or retired, and that noise on this level, and that anyone who's a threat to them is already dead. Then the lights go out. It's the debuting Adam Cole. Let me tell you about Adam Cole. I stayed off of the dirt sheets and stayed off of this Adam Cole contract situation because AEW, I'm really getting sick of these signings. I'm still mad at that Hall of Fame signing they promised in Revolution. It was Christian Cage. Because these signings are causing their own wrestlers to get lost in the shuffle. You build and use your own wrestler. This is what happened with Impact Wrestling. They built a great roster, then buried that roster in favor of these WWE signings who were just there for a paycheck. There for a paycheck and a vacation. Now no one is here for a paycheck or vacation, but it's getting to the point where you're focusing more on other wrestlers in these signings, these major free agent signings, over your own wrestlers. That several wrestlers keep getting lost in the shuffle and are not featured on the shows. That's an issue I have with AEW. That's one of the biggest issues I have with AEW. So I stated, these guys got to show me something. Adam Cole, what a cool debut. He made it seem like he was going to be the next challenger for the title, but instead, he decked Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy. Sometime in the future, I do want to see Adam Cole be a challenger for Kenny Omega, but he decked Jungle Boy instead, thus showing him and the Elite were in cahoots. And Kenny Omega quoted J. Lil White, Steve Urkel's character, "Did we do that?" Saying, "This guy's our brother. This guy's our brother." So we won't be doing that. Then the real challenger came out. Daniel Bryan, aka Bryan Danielson, the American Dragon, with an updated version of his Rise of the Valkyrie theme came out, and together he and the rest of Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, they cleaned house, sent the Omega and the Elite packing. Can't wait to see Daniel Bryan and Omega. Like I said, these guys got to show me something, and both Punk, Cole, and Daniel Bryan showed me something in their debuts, man. AEW really knows how to showcase and debut these people. Like I said, what a phenomenal pay-per-view it was. Not as good as that Double or Nothing pay-per-view from earlier this year. That was much bigger. That was much bigger and way better than this. But this was still an awesome show. It started off slow, but around the tag team cage match picked up with Punk and Darby Allin and Kenny Omega and Christian Cage being matches of the night. You don't want to hear the rest of the music? Turn the video off right now.
Working the hip. Omega's about as right-handed as anybody can get. He jabs with it, he punches with it. That's his go-to.
That is his go-to. Roll.